Hey loves, so welcome back to my channel. For this episode, I'm going to be talking about intermittent fasting. This is something that I touched on very briefly in my previous video, and I just wanted to go more in depth for this one. I have my little notebook because I wanted to stay on track this time, so I'm not making a long video. But basically, fasting is something that I got into when I decided I wanted to go on this journey of like losing weight and getting in shape. And whenever we talk about fasting, a lot of people is always quick to say, "Oh, I can't do that." But I'm here to tell you that we all fast. It just how long can we do it for? Whenever we're sleeping, that's basically fasting. So fasting is basically just not eating. Simple, the simplest term, not eating. There's different types where people will probably go into, like, you can do coffee or butter coffee or water, electrolyte, but keep it simple, it's basically not eating. Um, for me, as I mentioned, there's different types of fasting. You have your 12 and 12 is basically you sleep for 12 hours, which is fast for 12 hours, eat for the next 12. You have your 16-8, which is the same thing. You're fasting for 16 hours, eating for 8. You have your 18-6, and as well, I think you have, it can go as far as OMAD, which is basically one meal a day, or basically 24-hour, where you're skipping like a complete meal and stuff like that. So there's just a whole bunch of different types of fasting. You have your extended hour, which is basically 36 hours of fasting or more. Um, Before I get into fasting, like kind of telling you the benefits, I'm going to start off by saying you should always check with someone, check with your doctors, because not everyone should do fasting without like the guidance of someone. So, like, if you are on medication, like if you're a diabetic, because some diabetics are maybe on insulin or certain shots that's going to lower your blood sugar. So, if you're fasting, your blood sugar is going to be lower. So, if you're continuing to take these medicines, that can cause you to go into hypoglycemia, which is just something you don't want. So, you need to follow up with your doctors. Like, if you're like children, like if you're just like you're growing, you're in that stage, you don't need to be fasting. If you're pregnant, you may want to check in with your doctor before doing that. There's just certain things. If you're kind of have like eating disorders, that's not something I would recommend because I just feel like everyone have a different relationship with food. So I think you need to understand that before getting into it. So yeah, that was just a little thing before I get into it. For me, the benefits, I kind of have like a list right here. So basically, if you're fasting, you are not eating as often. So that's going to lower your blood sugar right off the bat. So for me, I, let's say I'm fasting from, we're going to just do something that's easier because I do night shift. So mine, I flip a lot. But let's do like the regular person. Like, let's say you stop eating at 8 o'clock and you're fasting from 8 to 8. That's literally 12 hours of fasting. And then that's just to push that 12 hours to like a 16 hours or 18 hours. It could be something as simple as just pushing your breakfast out a little bit further. So 9, 10, 11, 12. Eating your breakfast at 12, that gives you a 16-hour fast right there. So from 8 to 12, that's 16 hours. And then just making your eating window from 12 to 8 again. And then you just kind of continue the process. So if you're not eating or putting in all those stuff in your body, your blood sugar is going to be lowered. So that's one benefit. And that's why I decided to fast, because with my old issue, I was having the hypoglycemia problem. I was pre-diabetic, and that's what got me into it, because I'm just like, I need to get my body back on track. So with your blood sugar being lower, that's going to cause like a decrease in your insulin production as well. Because basically, the way how the pancreas works is whenever you eat, it just, your blood sugar is going to go up, so your pancreas is going to release insulin. And that's a mean of trying to get your blood sugar to decrease. So if you're not eating as much, your insulin production is going to decrease, which in return helps with insulin resistance. And that's something that I don't even know the percentage, but the percentage is pretty high for how many people in the world is insulin resistance, because we just eat so many carb dense food and sugary stuff that cause our pancreas just to work so much and produce so much insulin just to kind of balance that glucose level. And whenever your pancreas is working so hard, it becomes a time where it just kind of gives out somewhat. So you become very insulin resistant, and then it just doesn't work like it should. So blood sugar levels are high in the body, and that just causes, as I said, insulin resistance. So with the insulin resistance, that causes like your belly to become like bigger. So you'll see a lot of people with that midsection that is much bigger. And trust me, I had that. There was a time where my belly was like, I felt so bloated. It was just not a great feeling. And as I said before, I could tell the difference whenever I started to fast. Like, I was not as bloated. And don't get me wrong, this is not just fasting. There's a lot of other steps that I did, but my midsection wasn't as big as how it was. Other benefits I would say would weight loss. I had that written down, but it just goes to show, like, if you're not eating as often, your blood sugar is not as elevated, you're gonna lose weight. And that's just it. Even just fasting in general, a lot of people will fast but don't change their diet and they'll still lose weight, and that's just because of the fact that they're not eating as much, but at the same time you still need to change your diet, because yes, you may be eating, let's say, pizzas and burgers and stuff like that, but that's not correcting like the insulin resistance problem. And this is why I changed my diet, because that helped with my insulin sensitivity. So I think it's just a start, and you guys need to really figure out what works best for you. Other thing that it does is, as I said, it correct like metabolic syndrome, and that was like another reason why I started to fast. And when I talk about metabolic syndrome, that includes like your triglyceride level, your cholesterol level, your LDL. So all those bad like things in your body, it helps with the correction of those. So for me, as I mentioned, my cholesterol was super elevated when I first started this, like in the 200s. My LDL was above 100. So all of those were pretty bad. And just by me fasting and changing my diet and just choosing healthier options, I was able to bring those back down. And I mentioned in my previous videos that yes, they're not back to normal, but they're down a lot. And as I said, we've been hurting our body for a very long time, so it's not gonna just be just like that overnight. We're good. It takes time and it takes work. So that's something that made me intermittent fast as well, because that was a very good benefit for me. And if you're lowering your cholesterol, your triglyceride, your LDLs, that's gonna cause that's gonna help in terms of like for the long run, like it helps with your diabetes. It helps prevent like your heart failure, your coronary artery disease, and all those stuff that are linked to your high triglyceride, high cholesterol, heart attacks. You don't want heart attacks. So by getting those level down, you are decreasing your risk of having those diseases, which a lot of people in America have those. Like, I need to start doing my statistics and Googling, because when it comes on to diabetes, that's one of like the top things when it comes on to diseases. Um, but yeah, as I mentioned, another thing too for me, I felt like when I started to fast, I felt like fasting helps to kind of regulate my hunger, like my hunger. Like I wasn't getting as hungry as how I used to get. I told you guys I used to snack. I used to snack a lot. From watching TV and snacking. Going to do something outside, I'll probably grab me a quick snack. It was just snacking is just like you don't need it sometimes. I felt like after fasting, I was able to regulate like my hunger slash satiety hormones, which is like your ghrelin hormone and what's the other one called? I can remember. I probably right. Leptin. Leptin is basically satiety, and ghrelin is your hunger hormone. So I feel like it regulated my hormones a ton. Like I was not getting as hungry. And don't get me wrong, because when you first start off, you are gonna feel you may feel like hungry, you may have like the headaches and stuff like that, but I think a part of that is just that it's so new to us and we don't know what we're getting into. Like you have to nourish your body, and yes, when I say nourish, I mean put stuff back in, and that could be like your electrolytes. So you don't want to be fasting and not drinking water, and not just water but doing your electrolytes. So I use element electrolyte, which has like sodium, potassium, and magnesium. I think it has like 1,000 milligrams of sodium. I want to say, maybe let me see if I wrote it down. All right, guys. So I was talking about element electrolyte, and I was trying to figure out how much. I have a package right here because I do the raspberry salt one because it tastes so good. But it has 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, and 60 milligrams of magnesium. I think compared to other electrolytes, this one is almost doubled the sodium compared to like other ones. And honestly, it just helps to replenish all like the salt, like whenever you sweat and like whenever you're fasting. I feel like this is something to have. It helps with like the headaches, it helps with like the muscle pains and stuff like that. So I think this helps a lot, and it's only 10 calories. This is not sponsored, guys, but I'm actually gonna swear by it because it's really good. But yeah, I do feel like just replacing your electrolytes is good. And there's different levels to fasting. Like people just think it's you can't eat or drink anything, but there's certain things that doesn't have all that calories. Like I think once you get over 10 calories, then it's like your fast is kind of broken. But like Element only has 5 calories. You can do green teas, you can do coffee, just certain stuff like that, and that won't break your fast. I think some people even do like bone broth. As I said, there's so many different levels when it comes on to fasting. For me, as I said, all I do is I'll do water, I'll do my electrolytes, and that's it. A lot of people really don't think they can do fasting, but honestly, just pushing your your breakfast sounded so Jamaican. Just putting your breakfast out a little bit further is just like extending your fast window. So as I said, from 8 to 8, that's 12 hours. Pushing your breakfast out to 12, that gives you 16 hours right there. We're all fasting already. You're breaking your fast with breakfast. So honestly, I think we all can do it. Just I think we should do our research before getting into it. For me, another thing is whenever I fast, I felt like it improved my brain function like so much. Like I was able to think more clearly. I felt more, what you would say, like rejuvenated. I just felt like I was able to think much clearer than before. Yeah, that's like, I think that was a big thing. It was very, I want to say like it helped with my gut healing a lot, because as I said, your body has to digest all these foods. So if you're not eating, the colon and your intestines doesn't have to work as hard to digest these food. So that gives your gut time to heal. So I feel like that helped my gut situation a lot. And as I said, fasting wasn't the only thing. Like I started to incorporate a probiotics slash symbiotic, which I do seeds. I'll show you guys. I could probably take pictures and show to you guys. But that has helped with my gut health so much. along with the fasting. So it's not just a one thing fix all. Like it's the whole process, honestly. Um, as I said, it kind of decreased my cravings. I told you I don't snack as how I used to snack, and I'm not saying I don't do it like whole whole turkey. I don't do it at all. I will snack sometimes, but I do more healthier options. I'm not gonna sit and just eat a whole bag of chips, which I do that very quickly in the past. So I don't do that. I'll probably do fruits or nuts. I just choose wisely whenever I'm doing that. Another thing that helps me with my fasting, so I do like my apple cider vinegar like in the morning, or I'll do that before a meal because that just helps with my. I feel like apple cider vinegar it helps with the insulin sensitivity. So whenever I'm eating like a carb dense food, it doesn't like shoot up my blood sugar as high as how it would if I didn't do it. Um, yeah, that's one more thing I feel. See what else I have for you guys. This is just a little video, as I said. This is still pretty new to me, so I'm probably rambling. But if you guys have any questions, just go ahead and comment. If you have any suggestions on a video that you'd like to see or something you'd like me to talk about, just leave a comment in that comment section. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks, guys. Thanks for listening.